All right, today we're diving into something that feels really modern but is actually ancient: homeschooling. And no, this is not about trying to recreate a stuffy classroom at your kitchen table. We're talking about a massive shift in what it means to be a parent educator, all thanks to some incredible tools that are, well, changing everything.
Okay, so let's get a little perspective here. Homeschooling, it's not some radical new trend. Not at all. It's actually a return to how things used to be. I mean, think about it. This is how we educated kids for centuries. People like Laura Ingalls Wilder, even many of the founding fathers. They were all educated at home. It's the original model, really.
So, what does homeschooling even look like today? Well, the first thing you've got to know is that it's not just one thing. It's this huge spectrum, right? There are pretty much as many ways to do it as there are families doing it.
Okay, so on one end of that spectrum, you've got what people call school at home. It's exactly what it sounds like: super structured, maths at 9, English is at 10. They're probably following a curriculum they bought online. Then on the complete opposite side, you have unschooling. This is where things get really interesting. It's totally child led, there's no set schedule. If the kid is fascinated by bugs, then today's bug day. The learning just follows their curiosity. And of course, most people find their sweet spot somewhere in the middle.
So, what's the big advantage here? Well, one of the biggest is just efficiency. It's crazy. When you don't have to manage 30 kids, the actual school part can be done in like 2 or 3 hours. Seriously. And that frees up the entire rest of the day for things kids are actually supposed to be doing. You know? Playing, running around, being outside, building forts, all that good stuff. So the point isn't just to ditch the school building, it's to ditch the whole philosophy of an 8-hour bell-to-bell school day.
But of course, there's always a but, isn't there? For any parent even thinking about this, there is one huge question that just looms over everything. It's probably the number one fear that stops people dead in their tracks.
And that question is, am I qualified to teach my own kid? You know the feeling, right? You start thinking, oh man, I was terrible at math, or I can't remember a single thing about world history. It's this super common feeling, this sense that you're just not good enough. But what if that whole question, that entire fear, is just built on a shaky foundation? This is where our source material makes a really powerful point. The whole idea that you're not qualified, it's called an appeal to authority. It's a logical fallacy. Basically, it's the flawed thinking that says you need some kind of official piece of paper to be a good educator for your child, when really, a parent who's dedicated and has the right tools can be incredibly effective. And understanding that, well, that changes everything. And here it is, the big mindset shift. Your role completely changes. You stop being the teacher, the person who's supposed to have all the answers. Instead, you become a facilitator. Think of yourself as a guide, or maybe a project manager for your kids' education. Your job isn't to be the encyclopedia, it's to show them how to use it.
So where do you find all these amazing resources? Well, your number one co-teacher is probably in your pocket right now. I'm talking about the internet. It has completely, fundamentally changed the game.
Now, this is a pretty bold claim, I know, but it really gets to the core of this whole thing. The argument is that institutional education pretty much became obsolete the second the internet came online. Why? Because all of a sudden information wasn't locked away anymore. The gatekeepers were gone. Just think about the new reality this creates. You literally have an army of experts on call 24/7. You're worried about teaching math? Boom, Khan Academy has a world-class K-12 curriculum for free. What about foreign languages? Duolingo's right there. You have experts on YouTube, countless apps, all creating incredible content on every topic you can imagine. The point is, you don't have to teach calculus yourself. You just have to be the one who points your kid to the best person who can. Okay, so if the internet was revolution number one, we are smack in the middle of revolution number two, right now. And this one, AI tutoring, is on the verge of solving one of the oldest, biggest problems in all of education. You know, for decades, researchers have been obsessed with one question: what is the absolute best way for people to learn? And for over 50 years, the answer they keep finding is always, always the same.
And here it is, one-on-one instruction. That's it. It is the gold standard, the undisputed champion. Think about a personal tutor or an old school apprenticeship. That direct, personalized attention has always been, and still is, the single most effective way to learn anything.
And we're not just guessing here. The hard evidence for this comes from a famous study back in 1984 by a guy named Benjamin Bloom. It's known as the 2 Sigma study, and it actually put a number on just how insanely powerful this one-on-one method really is. The results were, honestly, they were mind-blowing. Bloom found that students who got this kind of one-on-one mastery-based tutoring learned 2 standard deviations faster. Now, what does that mean? It means the average student performed better than 98% of students in a regular classroom. Let that sink in. It's not a small improvement, it's a quantum leap. So how does this magic actually work? Well, it's not magic, it's just really smart science. First, it's something called mastery-based learning. The idea is simple. You don't move on until you've actually mastered the concept. So no more getting a C- on fractions and then just getting shoved into decimals anyway. Then you have things like spaced repetition and active recall, which is just a fancy way of saying you're forced to remember stuff you've learned. A perfect example is an app like Duolingo, right? It just keeps drilling you on your weak spots over and over until you finally get it. So if this is so amazing, why haven't we always done it? Well, one word: scale. It was impossible. Think about it. One human teacher cannot possibly create 30 unique, personalized lessons for 30 different kids after a quiz. It just doesn't scale. It was the gold standard, but only for the wealthy. It was never for everyone. Until now. This is how AI finally cracks the code. It's a simple loop. A student takes a lesson, they take a quick quiz. The AI immediately sees exactly what they struggled with. And then, and this is the amazing part, it instantly creates a brand new, custom-made follow-up lesson just for them to fix those weak spots. The student practices until they nail it, and only then do they move on. It's the exact same model from Bloom's study, but now it works for 1 student or 1,000,000 students. It's infinitely scalable. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. You take the parent, not as a teacher, but as a facilitator. You add in the entire library of the internet, and then you layer on the power of a personal AI tutor. What you get is a completely new, incredibly powerful model for home education. So let's just lay this out. The old way versus the new way. The old fear: I have to be the expert on everything. The new reality: nope, I'm just the facilitator. The old fear: I have to buy or create an entire curriculum. The new reality: the internet and AI are my curriculum. Basically, we're moving from a model that was rigid and expensive to one that is totally personalized, flexible, and accessible to just about anyone. And maybe the most important thing to get from all of this is that this isn't some sci-fi, in the future kind of thing. This is here, now. This entire educational system, the online experts, the AI tutors, all of it, it exists today. You can literally plug your family into it this afternoon. And all of this leaves us with a really big question to chew on, doesn't it? If your personal tutor is an AI, and the world's library is the internet in your pocket, then what is a school even for anymore? What does the school of the future really look like? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.